Hey friends. I I've spoken for several days now about how I got sick last week, and whenever you get sick you go through this kind of deep dive of the psyche and the body, but it's the psyche part that tends to catch my attention. And I find myself coming out of it. I've spoken already several times about what it various changes, things that feel like they have emerged as I've come out of that process. But one of the things I haven't really spoken too much about, but that's also pretty prominent, is the realm of dreams. And something I've noticed over the past, really, it's kind of like the nights after I was no longer really that sick. Like after I had my one or two or maybe three nights that were like rough, um, started to just kind of have these epic dreams where I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be like, "Is it morning? I feel like it could be the middle of the night. It could, like time sort of like gets distorted by the fact that I have been through such an expanse of what feels like time in my psyche, in my dreams. And, you know, there's part of me that wants to keep track of that, track of what I'm dreaming, and kind of put some attention there because I know from past chapters of my life where I've done some real focused dream work that all we have to do is start paying a little bit of attention to our dreams. And before you know it, it's like there's this line of communication with a deep, deep part of ourselves that it's like a charged channel that delivers, insight, solace, hope, inspiration. It gives us all kinds of interesting and thought provoking um, ideas. So I haven't really done a great job over the last couple of days of capturing any of that. I've tended to sort of wake up in the morning and be like, "Whoa, what was that? Like, can I even?" Because it's almost like, I mean, it's like to wake up from a long epic dream, right? You get to the end of or even not the end, just somehow somewhere in an epic journey, the dream just stops. You wake up and it's like, what was I just there? What was happening? What? But I had a dream where my mom was explaining to me. I was back in when I was back in my childhood living in Germany. I mean, we're talking over 30 years ago. And my mom was explaining to me how a donkey was somehow like this shamanic being that would help organize the family, the family lives, the family's life, and how it was related to it was very closely related to my dad's career at the time, and he's an opera singer and was a full-time opera singer at that time. So I I have no idea what to make of that, right? Like a lot of times a dream will clearly have something to say, but not be very clear about what that thing is. And sure enough, that was kind of the case. That was kind of the case here. It was like that, and because that was just kind of like the very end of the dream, and then, but before there was a whole kind of meandering section before that where I was traveling or moving through that phase of my life in a kind of, it was like a retrospective, remarkable. And that's actually kind of unique for me. I don't often have dreams about the explicit past. Usually I have dreams about now or maybe the future. It kind of depends, but it's actually kind of rare that like in my sleeping state I'm transported to a place that feels very clearly like it's a real other time. It's not just a random dreamscape. It's actually like entering the flow of time during a chapter of life that I've already lived. Kind of a unique thing. And then to have an animal invoked, a donkey. I think it was a donkey. I could be wrong about that actually. It might have been something else, but that's what sticks. Um, so anyway, I have no idea where this is going. If you're hoping that I will like follow this dream to some sort of like revelation or insight, prepare to be disappointed. That's not where I am. Where I actually am is that see I see the prevalence of that dream content emerging more readily, and it gives me the opportunity, right? Whenever that happens, it gives us the opportunity to kind of hang on to it. Don't just let it arise and dissipate again and then wait for the next chapter, but like actually kind of hook into it and see. Again, it's not about like I need to get in there and interpret it. I need to get in there and figure out what it's trying to say. No, just get in there and remember it. See how much. It's kind of like if you were writing a story and you didn't know where the story was going, and you weren't supposed to know yet. You're just following the story. You just want to make sure that you're following the story. I know what's going on here. I remember the details. I can see the details clearly. There's the landscape. Here's what it all looks like from the point of view of the character. That's kind of my intention at this point, is to really tap into my dream scape. Because eventually insights do follow. Eventually a certain amount of, clarity or a specific revelation or just an opening up of a new perspective, that all can happen as if simply by putting attention on it. It's kind of like meditation, right? You don't go into meditation if you go into meditation with the idea that I'm just going to keep my mind on the object of meditation because that's how I get to enlightenment. All right, here we go. Like that's not how meditation works. Like I'm sure you know this, but there's a sort of like goal orientedness to that kind to what I'm very tongue-in-cheekily imitating here, that it's going to repel any kind of information that's trying to come in. But just allowing our awareness to capture something like a dream, or allowing our mind to sit with a mantra, allowing our mind to sit with the breath, right? Holding these objects in a way that is both very rigorous and in many ways very disciplined. It's because, go ahead, try to meditate and keep an object just gently in focus, not clinging to it, not clinging to other things or distracted by other things, just gently in focus. It's a deep practice. Same thing with dreams, right? I mean, when I was doing dream work, I worked with two or three people who were really kind of experienced in this. And all of them talk about the art of grasping a dream. There's a great image that I got. This is a weird place, but I got it from a book called The Inner Game of Tennis, where he talks about holding the racket as though you'd hold a small bird. You want to hold it gently because you don't want to crush the bird. It's a small bird. You don't want to so loose that you could drop it or that it can unfurl its wings and fly away, but you also don't want to hold it too tight, right? It's that balance, like a gentle hold on something alive. I use that. That image comes back to me again and again when I think about how we hold the objects of meditation, how we might go about holding dream stuff, holding the dream stuff, so that we can maintain a connection to it, not squeeze the life out of it, but also not just let it fly away and leave us kind of unable to see it. So I'm very simply formulating my intention around this area of my life in a kind of generic way, but in a way that is also, kind of concrete as far as what it involves. Because who among us wouldn't like to have a little more access to our dreams, a little more of the sense that dimension of our life, which, like, we got all night every night to be there. What if that became a reality that was really that really felt informative, where it didn't feel like, okay, I'm checking out for 8 hours, okay, now I'm alive again. What if that was part of our reality and the way in which it informs our reality, which it's already doing anyway, but the way in which it informs our reality became conscious rather than literally unconscious. That'd be cool. So, putting that out there for myself, and I'm inviting you to do the same. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.